such an amount of energy coming from the crowd already for me on the stage. And the beauty is, I see the same amount of energy in all of you. Just radiant, amazing, powerful beings. And it's a great feeling. Feel. This is not working. Can somebody help me out with this? Yeah? Up and down, up and down. That's it. So, my mother always used to bug me and tell me how amazing I was, that I could do anything in this world. So she would stalk me day in day out with like bigger than life metaphors on how amazing I was. And I didn't believe anything of her. I thought she was the most annoying person on the whole planet. This was just stupid. Why can you just tell me I can do anything? Because I went to school, I went to class, and I was sitting there, very enthusiastically, putting my hand up, knowing everything. And then this teacher came to me and said, like, can you please just not share everything you know? I was like, my mother tells me that I can do anything, right? That everything is possible here. And please be a little bit more silent. Just don't stand up in front of this crowd every single time, because all the other children also need a space to shine and to flourish. And at that moment, it clicked in my mind. I made a belief that said, if I speak up, I'm in somebody's way. So that meant it was safer and better to be at second place than at the first place. And that second place defined the rest of my 20 years after that. Also, I made a belief that said, if I speak what I believe is true, and people don't understand me, it means that whatever I'm saying is wrong. And of course, I didn't want to say anything that was wrong, so it was better to just zip it and not say anything. Later on in life, I discovered I have this funky talent. And this funky talent makes me tap into your energy system of everybody who is in front of me, and I can see if you live your life purpose, if you're happy or not, and whatever is in the way of what it is that you would like to achieve in life, which blocks are there and which energy patterns are there. And how many of you have ever felt being blocked in making your dreams happen? Right? Can you present? That you know you've got all the skills, you've got the talent, right? You might have the support or not, and you're just not moving forward. It's just not happening. It's one of the most frustrating feelings in the world that there is. So let me introduce you into my world, in this world of energy. And I believe that everything is energy, and we are all energy. Right? We have the soul, we have an energetical body and a physical body. Even my physical body is energy. This stage has different densities. And if we go into the matter and into that space, in the end we come into electrons, neutrons, protons, and in between that there's this source energy which keeps everything together. And that energy can have different qualities, right? So we live in a planet where there's duality. And so there's always two sides of this coin. So if you look at protons on one side, there's electrons on the other side, solid on one side. So for example, ice, we have on the other side, and it becomes liquid in the middle and gas on the other side. And then we have this concept of true, and the concept of false, and the concept of light, and the concept of dark. Right? So there are two sides of every single coin and energetical qualities that are around. And we can tap into that source energy, which is there. There's no judgment here on what is right or wrong. Right? If you look at these things, we do not judge water as right and gas as wrong. It's just another quality of the same thing, of the same energy. And it's more useful to see, like, do I need water at the moment, or the liquefied version in the middle, or would I require ice or gas on the other side? So there's no judgment on that one. So the question then is, can you influence your environment with your energy? Right? And there's this very interesting experiment done by Dr. Emoto. And what he did, he took just normal tap water, and that tap water he put in pots. And then he would put his intention and thoughts on that water. So, for instance, you see, we put thank you labels on it, wisdom, truth, eternal, but also very ugly things, or things that we say, you make me sick or evil. And he prayed in front of the pot and in front of the water. Afterwards, he froze the water into ice, and you could see the different patterns that are coming into life after putting that energy and intentions into the water. So this basically shows, it means that with what we think, we can influence our environment. And we as human beings, our body consists of 75-80% of water, even more than that. So can you imagine what would happen? The things that we believe in our minds, and which we tell ourselves every single day, what that has on the impact on our body, as well on what we create on the outside. So let's take it one step further. Is this energy has different frequencies. I started working with a lot of clients and with myself to see if I can take those energy patterns and those blocks out. Well, if I can take these energy patterns out of the people and the person. It's really nice that when you're standing on the stage and you see this timer going here and you think you're going to mess up, but it's also creating an energy which then blocks me from going on with the speech. Which the same thing, right, happens with all of you when you're doing any studies or business or anything. Everything we believe in our minds is actually coming into reality at the moment. No, I don't have the phone number. So, right, when I was working with my clients and on myself, some people were changing very fast because you can tap into that source energy. And if we find the belief and the awareness that it is that we have inside of us, right, I can't make any money, I'm not good enough, this is not for me, or because I'm a woman, I will never make a substantial amount of money. All these beliefs create a reality. But some people would change very fast, and other people, other clients, would go very slow on this scale. And there's this book called Power versus Force. And Dr. Hawkins actually researched how our frequency, how our energy influences our environment. So if we hold an energy of shame, right, it basically means that we feel that we're not good enough. Right? The depth of shame is very low, it's very low frequency. If we go up to guilt and apathy, for example, apathy has a frequency of 50, that is where most homeless people are, because they've just given up. Right? What's the point of this? There's nothing I can do ever in my life, so that's the energy of giving up. We radiate at the scale of 50. If we go up to grief, right, there's a lot of sadness. It's also a very dense and heavy energy, which will not let us move forward. It's where when we're in a state of victimhood, that is often when we're at the level of grief. We go up to fear and desire here is more like this ego desire of like trying to force things, and not so much the natural desire, believing that something is not for me. I cannot have this, I cannot not have that. It's too much work. I'm not good enough. And it's also the rejection. And rejection is also at the level of fear, where fear comes in. If we feel fear and experience fear, there's a belief system that thinks that we're going to be rejected if we do something. For example, I have a dream of going to specific studies or setting up a specific business, and our families around us are completely different, right? The fear is, if I become different than my environment, then I will be rejected. So we do not act upon, and we create an energy in our body, right, which then influences our system, which creates that reality of fear and not moving forward. And anger is a very interesting one, because it's the energy that's actually movable. And I'm always very happy when somebody gets really angry and explosive in front of me, because it means it's moving. It means that they are passionate enough to express what is coming. And we can direct anger in two different ways. In a destructive way, but we can also transform it into passion. And it becomes a very useful energy. Right? If we then move up, and we pride, for example, where most fundamentalist people are, is because there's adopted ideas and ideologies, usually from the outside world, which then become rigid into the system. And we follow a structure and things. That is we radiate at an energy of pride of about 175 megahertz. Going up, courage is a door opener. And courage is where we, at this moment, as humanity, all together are radiating. It's at the level of courage. And what happens, which Dr. Hawkins discovered, is that someone who radiates at the level of love, which is 500, has the capacity to impact about 700,000 people positively who are vibrating at the energy of courage at that moment, just by being themselves, by being in that energy, having that state inside of yourself. So can you imagine, if you just become yourself, if you become joyful and loving within yourself and your environment, you have the capacity, just by being you, to influence 700,000 people in a positive way. And somebody who radiates at like 450 or 550 at joy has the capacity to influence 1 million people, just by being in that radiance and in that peace. So that our consciousness actually affects the areas in our lives. So these are the main 5 ones: love, wealth, relationship, career, and health. And all the beliefs that we have are determining the outcome of what it is that we manifest. I was working with one of my clients, and he believed that every successful person, every rich successful person who has a big company lies to their customers. And that is the only reason how he gets the money. His startup never got off the ground in the beginning because that belief was actually prohibiting him from receiving clients and money. Right? At the moment he took that belief out, his startup started running because now he was able to receive that. Right? And there's no right and wrong here. And so I was wondering, like, what is the fastest way to move these patterns out? Right? Instead of going through a whole long list of therapies. And so what would it take to uplift your frequency immediately, as fast as possible, right? Within a couple of minutes or not. Otherwise it would take another 20 years before we become successful. And that's not something we were waiting for. Right? Then we would also believe that it would take a long time, or that change is hard. Right? If you believe that change is hard, it takes a long time, that is also actually what comes. And change can actually happen very quick and very fast at the moment we adopt that set, right? So I found out that it's judgment. We consistently judge our minds, our outcomes, the people around us, what we feel, what we think inside of us. And it's very easy. Then it was like, okay, just not judge anything. How can I not judge anything? It's easier said than done, right? I judge myself constantly, and we judge each other as human beings consistently in daily life. Oh, you should be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. Wear this dress, don't wear this dress. Go to this meeting, do not go to this meeting. You should behave like that, you shouldn't behave like that. The question is more like what is useful and what isn't useful. So I found that the judgment is a series of ideas we concluded ourselves, right, after an experience. So for example, when I was young, my mother threw me out of the house one time, and I interpreted that as I'm not welcome. I'm not welcome, I cannot do this. And for the rest of my life, I was searching for a home until I took that pattern out. Right? And so how do we become aware of our own judgments? It's not something I go and sit with a cup of tea next to that, like, let's find out my own judgment. The first thing is stop judging our own judgments, right? If I stop judging that I am judgmental, and stop judging that is a problem, we can actually change it. And just putting a note in the card in your pocket, which you carry around every single day, and at the moment you notice that the judgments come up, you just write it down. And we don't judge the judgment. It can be very silly things, right? And one of the judgments that I encountered was, if I speak up my truth, everybody is wrong and will hate me and nobody needs me. So for a very long time I couldn't speak. So we write the judgments. I'm crazy, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, my hair is too long, my hair is too short, this person is, and literally everything that's racist, everything that's judgmental, everything that is in all the categories we never want to speak about is exactly what you want to put on that list, right? Without any judgment on it. And after that, what I do and I encourage my clients to do is go on a walk. And we go on a walk. And with that, we have the possibility to connect to our source energy. We remember that energy that is in between the protons, which is inherently us. So how do you do that? How do you connect to that source energy if you want to? And actually it's very easy, and we're all born and have a natural talent to do that. If you take your energy up 300 meters above where you're at, you will notice that you at one moment find a space that feels very open and spacious and lighthearted. So you bring that energy in, back into your body, and you move it, throw our feet into the ground, into the middle of Mother Earth. And there you find this rockabye baby, very cute, sweet, loving energy. So we bring it back. And from there on, we expanded beyond ourselves. And we have the capacity already because we are that source energy. And it's just letting go of the belief you cannot do it, because we can. So we expand beyond ourselves. Let's expand beyond this room. Right? We expand beyond the complex, we expand beyond the city, the country, and we make the world, the solar system, and back into our infinite being. And we look at it, those set of judgments, and we go, what would it take? Right? And everything you want to have after that. What would it take to be successful? What would it take to love my husband? What would it take to feel confident? What would it take to earn another 5,000 rupees or $5,000? And it's not about finding the answer, it's about changing the energy behind it. Because at the moment you start believing it is possible and it is true, whatever it is that you have in your mind will show up in your reality. Right? And I was living a very mediocre life. And my clients were literally like playing video games on the couch, not doing anything. And I bumped into millionaires, were clients of mine who had the business, right? The family, the relationships. The dollars, the wife, everything that you could imagine. But they were not happy. You cannot want more of something, or you cannot have more of something you don't want. So looking in our judgments, stop our judgments, and allow ourselves to see and feel what it is that we actually want, can change the world. Because we saw in that frequency, right, when you move up, you move your own inner state to love and joy, you actually have the capacity to change the world. And that is one of the reasons I showed up here at IST, because I firmly believe, and there's nobody in this world who can ever get me off this belief, regardless of how much judgment there might or might not be, that every single one of you in this room has the capacity to change that. And it doesn't matter what your background is, right? It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter in which country you were born. It is about what you believe inside of your mind and your heart. And I'm gratefully thankful to my mother for never, ever, ever letting me off the hook when it comes to my greatness, regardless if I believed her or not. Because at the moment that I started believing her, my life changed. And I started studying, I started traveling the world, I started having my own businesses. Until this day, I still make my own list every single day with my own judgments. Because we're all human. Let's not beat ourselves up over that. And just not judge the judgment. And every single day, one step at a time, create a little space for ourselves to create what it is that you want to create. So no matter what it is that you have in your mind right now, it's a business, it's a relationship, it's going to get a cup of coffee somewhere else, which you want, either big or small. It is possible if you dare to change your frequency. And it is as easy as just connecting and start asking different questions. And believing that it is easy, you can change everything you want in this world. Thank you.